Ramblings of a Semi-Coherent Drunk. My side, your side, no side. I have tried to write this on 3 separate occasions, and it's ended up as 3 very different essays. So I want to make this as clear as I can. Third time's the charm, as they say. I am not a Republican. I am no longer a Democrat. I got lost with the Democrats after the 2016 election. I was ready to vote for Bernie Sanders, which is a position I no longer hold these days, but I was ready to vote for him. And because the DMC decided that they didn't want him, and the fact that a lot of information came out in the aftermath explaining how Hillary basically bought out the election from him, I no longer wanted to be a part of a party that didn't represent me. That's why I didn't vote Republican, because I always figured the Democrats had people like me in mind when they passed policy. I no longer believe that. Not because I think the Republicans have a better stance, but because I realize that the Democrats don't have it either. People who I think of as assholes tend to throw out slogans like, left wing, right wing, same bird. And that annoys me. Even though there may be a degree of accuracy in such a statement. But to my mind, it's someone deciding that voting is not worth having a part in, and I refuse to accept that. I was raised to have strong opinions. Most folks weren't, and this has been something I've had to deal with my whole life. And another thing I've been raised to do is to tolerate and deal with other people's opinions, especially ones I don't like. I've always had a combative attitude towards others who don't roll with me, and it's always brought me nothing but combat. But we do that. We love a good fight. It proves how committed you are to your own idea and how much you know about it. There's utility in that. As anyone who has ever had to sit sideline while anyone in this family discusses politics or anything, or somebody may have had a contrary opinion, we can argue. We are fighters, make no mistake. We are good at it. I'm somewhere in the middle these days, because I will never call myself a Republican on the basis that they hold their righteousness off the Bible and other such books that I do hold in high regard, but do not take as rote morality. I also no longer hold Democrats in high regard, as they will claim science as the be-all and end-all of all things. Unless it comes to sexuality or gender identity, proving that they are no better than Republicans in the effort of forcing things into what they want them to be. I'm reminded of the biography of Albert Einstein, where he spent the latter half of his life trying to prove the existence of the ether, the substance that he thought was outside of our atmosphere and existed in all of space. Because that had been the prevalent theory up until he came around and unleashed general relativity. It's astonishing to see a man prove something so fundamental to our understanding of the universe, and then spend the rest of his life trying to disprove it in such a weird, oblong way. But we all do this, don't we? But these are the basic truths that I do know. I'm 31, and I don't need to prove anything to anybody. But I still wish to convey things to you, if for no other reason than to just stop being called a Republican. I'm not a racist. I treat every goddamn person I meet on the basis that I meet them. I have worked with people from all over the world, and at the end of the day, no training changes the very essence of existence. We're all here because we need money. So let's work together and make this work as best as we can. I've met people from all over the world, and there's always been one single connecting factor. We're all in it for the money, and it doesn't pay to make people suffer for almost every fucking reason. I don't trust groups because I don't like groups who speak on behalf of anyone. It doesn't matter what these groups say. At the end of the day, all that matters is how you behave. And if you think you can speak on behalf of any group that hasn't told you to, you should shut the hell up. I can speak for myself, as can you, and anyone hearing this. I believe in people. I don't believe in the groups they claim to represent. I could no more speak on behalf of all men than you could speak on behalf of any other group you chose arbitrarily. It scares me when people do, and it scares me tenfold when people go along with it. I am a man, but I would like to believe that I am so much more than that. I'm not a white man, I'm just a person. I hope this is making sense. I dislike political groups that try to play on this. I distrust them. I would not want to be a part of them, because no one can do the things that they claim to do on their behalves. It should not be done, and at the very least, should not be done lightly. So if I seem I've become a bit more conservative on these fronts, I'll accept that. I prefer to speak on my behalf and not let others do the talking for me. When someone starts trying to make ramblings of a semi-coherent drunka movement, I may start speaking out and trying to tell them to shut the hell up. But no one is. It almost seems like people are trying to turn us against ourselves, and I refuse to partake. I don't like the direction of common discourse, and I will work my ass off to make this plain and make it clear that I speak only for me, Seth. And I will distrust forever any man, woman, or anything beyond or in between that tries to tell me that being a decent human being to anyone else is wrong.